For my final project, I'm choosing what we now know to be a long journey of a patient M for confidentiality. I'm using M. She's an Asian female, 57 years. I'm going to describe the events, the diagnosis, and the early rehabilitation. The first event of patient M occurred in 2011, where she was on a trip from New Orleans, Louisiana, a cruise down to Belize. She remembers being bitten by an insect, and within a matter of hours, she had to be medevaced off the ship, flown into Belize, go through customs, get her back to Miami, and then back to her home in Phoenix, Arizona. Patient M was hospitalized for a month upon returning to Phoenix because she developed a rash from the insect bite, and across her back the CDC came out, took samples for viral, fungal type situations. They were all negative. MRI scans were negative, but did indicate swelling of the right temporal lobe. From the hospital and for about the next first hospital stay and for about the next 2 years, she had periodic hallucinations, and they were typically of a small child wearing green Oshkosh pants. In 2014, patient M had a relapse, a very significant one, where a urinary tract infection generated a high fever. She became delirious and had to be hospitalized for a period of approximately 2 months. During the hospital stay, she was combative, agitated, language impaired, and she had developed encephalitis, a swelling of the lower temporal and parietal lobes, and a slight swelling in the occipital lobes. And this is indicated by these two scans, where this is the left side and this is the right side, and you're going from the bottom of the brain up, and you'll notice the swelling here on her left side. Again, the temporal and parietal lobe, and you'll also notice by contrast of gray matter and white matter in the lobes between the two sides. You see quite a contrast there, the gyrus structure, etc. So from looking at the side of the brain here, her, patient M's swelling was in this general area, again of the left temporal and parietal lobe, with a slight swelling even existing down here into the occipital lobe. During the relapse, patient M spent approximately 2 months in a variety of hospitals, including both the Scottsdale North and Osborne. She had health care and lab work done by Johns Hopkins, Mayo. Pathology from the biopsy of her brain was done by University of Arizona Medical Hospital. And she spent most of her time at the Barrows Neurological Research Institute. During those period of a couple months, MRIs, X-ray, blood work, the biopsy was all done. Everything came back negative, but she definitely had an encephalitis and a swelling of the left side of her brain. She was treated with plasmapheresis and steroids, and she continues with an expressive and receptive aphasia, roughly located in the Wernicke and the Broca areas. The working diagnosis currently is there's some sort of an autoimmune problem. What has been fascinating to me is that the problem has migrated literally from the right to the left side of her brain. Patient M is now going through a variety of occupational, physical, and language therapies. You can see some of her progress trying to connect dots, and she's having a little bit of difficulty. She's also having difficulty writing words exactly. She has difficulty repeating them, and she's trying to relearn how to spell her name, none of which is currently here. This course has provided me a more solid understanding of the brain and the associated systems it's employed. The incredibleness of the brain is the appreciation I now have for it and how it's helped sustain life. I also have a better appreciation of how just a small problem, or what I would think would be a small swelling in the brain, can cause significant problems from the mass effect. And finally, because of the particulars of patient M, I have a much better understanding and appreciation for the complexity of language and a respect. I would like to give a big thank you to Professor Mason, the University of Chicago, and Coursera for putting it on. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.